Hey guys, Albert from the Orpheon here, and welcome to a new mini-series that I want to do in order to bring you guys some more content in between videos in the form of these mini podcasts. And these will go over some questions or topics you guys will like me to discuss. Completely unscripted and so I do apologize if I mumble or stumble or say things incorrectly. But yeah, let me know about if you like the idea. All feedbacks is welcome, things I could do to improve this viewing experience for you guys and the like. And I'll try to keep these short and not spam them too long. Don't worry, I'm not turning into a podcast channel. But I just thought, hey, in between videos, sometimes it takes me a while juggling this with my main job. So I wanted to give you guys a little bit more content, and I thought, well, why not a mini podcast? Some of you seem keen on the idea on my social media and on the community tab for the channel. So I decided to give it a go. At the same time, I had this little idea. So, to break off from the monotony of the chibi characters, if you may, I introduce you this. Some fantastic artwork by my great friend Inferno from the Discord server. And maybe we can turn this into something in the future where I show some art by other people or media that they created and stuff like that. So I can give a little bit of a community shout out, and that way I can kind of give back to you guys in some fashion after all the support I've received. Also, I apologize if the audio might sound a little bit weird. I'm testing a new mic setup, and I'm one of those people that when they talk, especially unscripted, I need to move. So as I say this, I'm walking around my room like some Dumbo brain. So yeah, I do apologize for that. I did get a new wireless lavalier microphone, but I don't have it on me at the time of making this. So again, I apologize if the audio might sound a little bit wonky. I'm trying my best to make a setup where it's comfortable for me. I think my ideas come out better when I can move around when I'm speaking or thinking out loud, I should say. But moving on, the main topic I wanted to cover in this video was regarding Metroid Prime 4 and why specifically I feel that us fans of the Metroid community should probably consider toning down a bit the whole memeing on Metroid Prime 4 being announced in 2017, and at the point of this podcast we still have no trailers and updates, and demanding that we get some sort of footage and stuff like that, because against our better judgment that we don't know, we might be affecting the people developing the game. And it's something rather simple. You see, in any creative medium, maybe in almost any line of work, there is a thing called crunch time, where essentially you're very close to your deadline. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be done or tweaked out, and thus people go working around the clock to meet the missing requirements. It's natural that things like movies, animations, and games do hit this crunch time. As someone who works in this industry, I can tell you it's gonna happen per project, no matter what you do. And at times it can be healthy to give that extra push and what have you. But as of late, this is becoming a rather toxic mentality and work strategy that sadly many talented artists have to be dealing with. It's a real life thing, and it's not because it's this normal, we are at the final stretch, crunch time, sort of like if you're playing a sport and it's a tight game in a few minutes only to decide the winner. But we're putting that mentality all over the place because some companies, some producers are trying to make crunch culture the norm, and that's just wrong. Crunch time has a lot of negative effects on people, both in their mental health and their physical health. Working around the clock, sitting down is overall bad for your health. It's why they say that sitting is like the new silent killer or something like that. I read it on a post a few weeks ago now, I don't remember. But yeah, you know, back pain, eye strain, and all that can happen. But most importantly, it's really the emotional and mental health problems that this can cause. So you're making people now work around the clock, double or triple than the normal regular hours without any rest. People don't get back. Some people refuse to go back home or refuse to take breaks because they have to meet this deadline, or else, you know, the project isn't made. And it affects these developers so much that it actually makes them want to quit their job. And I know that the saying goes, if you work on something that you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And that's partially true as someone who works on the thing that he likes. It's partially true. At the end of the line, work is still work, regardless if you like it. If it's something you like, you're going to be a little bit more motivated to keep on doing it. But at the end of the day, you got mouths to feed. And crunch time is not healthy at all. Putting people in constant stress just deteriorates their mental and emotional state, and it makes coming up with ideas and finding the motivation to go on even harder. This is why game delays are good, not only because the game might not be finished or it might not be in the state they wanted it by a certain date, and it allows to the game be polished, so when it comes out, it lives up to our expectation. And so when back in a year or two ago, if you may, Nintendo said, we're going to delay Metroid Prime 4, that was a good thing, because they themselves in the video said, yeah, we're not happy with where the game is going, and we got approached by Retro Studios or vice versa. I don't have it clear in my head. I don't have it clear in my head at the moment. And so it's rather good that we know this, because it's saying Nintendo does care about our expectations for the Metroid Prime 4, and that they understand sort of that this game needs to succeed so that the Metroid franchise can keep on going. And so when that video came out, they also said that because of this decision, again, a good decision, they had to delay the development, obviously, because they kind of had it to start from scratch. So if we think about it, if the game started from development again sometime before or after that video was posted, giving the usual high budget production that games take around 4 or 5 years to make average, we should be using this as a guideline to know that Metroid Prime 4 is gonna take some time to do, because they're making it from scratch. So instead of complaining and doing this stuff, we should be happy that, first of all, we actually got an update video. How many games go that get silently delayed or canceled? And that meaning that we don't know, it wasn't never officially announced a change of release date or cancellation of the project. And for a company like Nintendo that at times doesn't give out too much information about the development process, this is something good, because it does show that they want the best for this game. And at the same time, we should be happy that they made this decision, because like I stated in my video regarding the delay, if you want more of my thoughts in an organized fashion, you can check that video out. This means that they want to take their time and actually give us something that's worth our time, that's worth our hype. And that means a lot, at least to me as an avid Metroid fan. So again, going back to the main topic, why should we stop making so many memes on the internet? I guess part of me wants to say, and I'll be completely honest, because my Twitter and Instagram feed are just filled with these memes that it just comes to a point where it's like beating a dead horse, I guess. The joke's been done, and we'll keep on doing it. And the same applies to a game like Bayonetta 3, which in of itself is a whole different situation, because Platinum Studios is currently developing, I think, 2 or 3 games. But at least, again, Hideki Kamiya, the director, is saying, yeah, we're still doing it. Don't stress about it. Maybe they announced it a little bit too early than anticipated. That sometimes happens as well, but at least we know the games are being done. And the reason, finally going back to the main topic, the reason why we shouldn't be doing this is because crunch time inadvertently comes from 2 sides. If you want to make a mental map, grab a piece of paper or whatever, put in the middle Retro Studios or your developer for your video game. And then on one side you have the producers, who aren't inherently the main company, but in the case of Retro, the producers would be Nintendo. If it's like a Sony game, the producer company might be Sony, the parent company, or whatever. And then on the other side, you have us, the community, critics and fans alike, reviewers, everywhere in between, I guess. We're all on the other side. So regardless of what happened, the producers are eventually going to close in on the developers, demanding them to work overtime so that the product can be finished or meet certain deadlines. And that's going to create some crunch. Like I mentioned in the beginning, the normal type of crunch. When we also add that now, fans are adding more tension to the situation from the other side, it just creates more unnecessary crunch, because the closer we get to the producers, if you may, it'll make certain type of producers say, hey, these people want this product really badly and we really want money. So yeah, get it done faster so we can get money faster. And then the developers would be like, but what about the project? What about the deadlines? What about the idea? No. We want the money now because they want it now. And then games get released way before they can, realistically finish something. And even then, it's very painful because now we are inherently affecting this, because regardless of what happens, this is one of the many examples of what might be happening behind the scenes of us adding to the crunch time. Because usually, developers might go and check on the community to get some encouragement or inspiration, not necessarily them saying, hey, I need this, but they'll maybe go and stalk around some social medias or whatever. And when they see us being excited, it can be a definitely huge morale boost to help them push forward in their development. But when they see mostly as, us memeing about where's the trailer for Prime 4, I don't think that might be the nicest thing for them to see when they're trying to maybe take a break and look for encouragement. So it's not saying stop it, internet. I'm not here to tell the internet what to do, but more or less, if you want to be more conscious about helping out Retro Studios, don't ask for updates or memes so much about it as frequent. Because I feel there's a lot of other stuff we can meme around in the Metroid universe that doing this is kind of low-hanging fruit, especially when we know why it's being delayed, and it's a good thing that's being delayed. A lot of great games were delayed, and one of the main ones that comes to mind is Ocarina of Time, a game that was delayed for its release and turned out to be one of the most, memorable games of all time. Smash Brothers Brawl, a game that saw countless delays, but when it came out, it really blew a lot of us out of the water. Regardless if you like the combat or not, you can't deny that the hype towards Brawl is something quite unreal. So the same thing will eventually happen with Prime 4, when it's going to come out. We're going to see a trailer, and the positive thing about this is that when the trailer drops, we are going to get something closer to what we like. Or, well, not what we like, but closer to how it would look is what I meant to say. And thus, we're going to get a little bit more confident about where the project is going. Because, again, another example that just came to mind about a game that was delayed that ultimately had it for the better was Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Can you remember when that game was planned to be released sometime 2015? And it then came out 2 years later and it became this huge phenomenon? Yeah, that usually happens when a game gets delayed. And it's something that we should be happy that happens, is that we are not, forcing our creators or artistic people to essentially conform to an arbitrary schedule, but more that we're willing to have some leadway, some extra playroom in terms of when the game can be released, so that the game can properly come out. If you want to know why, I guess it's hard to ascertain how long a project will be made at times, is because every game that's developed is developed differently. Unless you're reusing a lot of old assets like codes and models and characters in games, which does happen, and that's how some of these yearly franchises get made. And there's nothing wrong with that, because I guess they're making some money and stuff. But essentially, when you're making a whole new project, you can't fully see into the future of what's going to be the challenges you might have to overcome. You can see some of them and you can predict them, but not everything. And given the fact that I doubt Retro Studios is just going to reuse the same engine and the same models and the same lighting and the same rigs and models and textures from a 2007 video game, that they really had to start from scratch. And I guess a good example of this happening is if you ever built a Lego or a model kit, like the ones I love to build their Gundams, you can more or less get an idea of how long a model kit might take you to build, or a Lego, judging by the size of the box, the number of pieces that comes in the set. But we can't really tell how long the actual building process is going to take, because it's different from person to person, and it's the same case with these game companies. It doesn't matter how much of a budget you have, it's all relative in a way. So, to wrap things up, if you want to do something about Metroid Prime 4, let's show a little bit more of words of encouragement to the guys at Retro Studios. Last year, 2020, was very hectic, and I'm sure that affected them in some major ways, and they've been keeping quiet and all that stuff. So if anything, we should be sending words of encouragement. And if there's anything you want to take from a positive, that the game is nearing a stage where it's almost ready to be shown to us fans, is that they're hiring a lot of people that are from the artistic side, some technical side, and that's good, because usually you hire these people when a game reaches a certain point and you try to need some extra persons to help. So don't freak out if you see, you know, Retro hiring more personnel onto their team and you saying, oh, the game is still not ready, it's going to take longer. I know some of us are impatient, but try and see that in a different light now, where it's like, oh, cool, they're hiring this. This means that progress is being made, and they just want someone with a better set of skills to do this specific thing for a game or two. And that's the thing we can take. Now, I guess the obligatory questions I'm gonna get asked is Metroid Prime Trilogy on the Switch. Okay, first of all, I want to say, guys, don't believe every rumor you hear online. Rumors are rumors until they're proven right, or it comes out of the horse's mouth, is I believe how the slang in English goes. So yeah, don't get too overly excited when you see a Nintendo rumor and it says Metroid Prime Trilogy, because there's like a good 95% chance it might be fake. I don't doubt that they will port Metroid Prime Trilogy onto the Switch sometime around Metroid Prime 4, so that we can enjoy the full thing on the go. If they do so, I want to see a few changes or a few small additions that I could make in a video in the future. If this actually gets announced, most of them have to do with bonus cosmetics or amiibo functionality for skins that you could still get in the game without the amiibo, but using the amiibo you can maybe get it before beating the game or something like that. So I think it's gonna be an eventuality. They're definitely testing the waters with things like the Super Mario 3D All-Star, and similar to Super Mario 3D All-Star and the original Metroid Prime Trilogy, it's sadly going to be somewhat of a limited release. In which, if it's the case, I hope it's the physical version, because of, you know, maybe it's a steelbook with some art and whatever, like it was in the original game, and not just when it's gone, it's gone. And I just hope that if they port it, they do some simple changes. I can totally see them adding something like gyro aim with the controls for Metroid Prime 3 specifically. I'm more worried is about the part of playing it on handheld. I used to switch handheld the most, to be honest, because I'm constantly moving around the house or to work or travel before 2020 happened, so I got used to playing it in a handheld mode, and it's part of the reason why I like this, because then I can, you know, play this when I'm doing grinding in Final Fantasy 14 or whatever. So I would like them to incorporate, you know, classic GameCube style controls, and at the same time, so motion controls with gyro aiming. But I'm more worried about Metroid Prime 3. I can see them solving a lot of the puzzles that require use the Wiimote to like open doors or pull levers with simple button and joystick combos. But there's a lot of inherent aiming that you have to do. I know that you can turn off the manual aim and play it like if it were a regular GameCube game. I'm just worried about how you're going to implement all those motion controls into something like Prime 3 on a handheld system, because I don't want to be, you know, moving physically moving my Switch to aim and stuff like that. But I'm sure they'll figure something out. I guess the biggest hurdle with this is just simply adapting the code in the game for the new system. And I guess the last question I'm gonna make in terms of the main topic, since I know it's gonna be asked, even though I answered it. So it's, do you think Dark Samus and Phazon are gonna come for Metroid Prime 4? My answer is no. And my other answer is I hope not. Again, in my video for Prime 4 ideas, I share a little bit more of what I wanted to see from the game at that time. So if you're curious or you just don't fully remember, definitely check it out. I'll put a link to the videos that I mentioned in the description. Hopefully there'll be a card or whatever. But the main reason is that Kensuke Tanabe, producer of the trilogy, also producer of Prime 4, said in an interview some years back that the story of Phazon and Dark Samus are over, and he would have preferred to focus on something else. And I completely agree. Phazon and Dark Samus are really cool. And I have a friend who, she just loves Dark Samus, and I know that she'd be happy to see her back. But at the same time, I really don't, because I don't want the main enemy to just be yet another evil Samus. We've already had 2 of these. So if Prime 4 is going to open up a whole new saga or trilogy, why not introduce some new threats and some new enemies or MacGuffins to keep it different? Last thing we wanted to happen is something like, say, I guess Star Wars, where the new trilogy, episodes 7, 8, and 9, felt a little bit too similar to episodes 4, 5, and 6. And I don't think we want that to happen in the Metroid games. I feel we had a satisfying conclusion in Prime 3, a very epic battle and setting, and all this build-up that if Dark Samus and Phazon just came back in 4, would kind of ruin all the build-up Primes 1 and 2 did for the conclusion that 3 gave us. And then, you know, kind of retroactively make that feel a little bit more lame. Especially when there's a lot of cool new things you can do with Sylix, who I'm pretty sure is going to be a villain. And if it's the villain, I just hope he doesn't just, I'm going to team up with the Space Pirates. But I like to see that sort of Galactic Federations versus Space Pirates versus Sylix tri-battle, or whatever you call it. So it's more like the Space Pirates are trying to steal Sylix's MacGuffin or whatever, so it's not just like, I teamed up with you, because then, again, it'd be like Dark Samus. So just something new, something refreshing in terms of story and setting, because the way I take it is that the name or the subtext Prime doesn't necessarily mean it's in the Prime trilogy, but more that it's the first-person perspective, or it's referring to the first-person perspective. So when it's Metroid, nothing else, it's probably a 2D game. And when it says Prime, we know what to expect in terms of it's going to be first-person perspective game. At least that's the way I always took it. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little mini podcast. I hope it distracted you for a little bit. I'll also use these in the ending to give a little bit of an update. And in this video or podcast I should say, is that, yeah, the new video is coming along well. I already cleaned up all the audio, and I already started editing it. It's gonna be the topic I made for the poll a while back before I decided to do a Monster Hunter video. Just because I'm excited for Monster Hunter Rise, and yes, I'll do a video too when that game eventually comes out. But don't worry, the Samus versus Dark Samus video is well underway. As I'm speaking right now, I'm editing, starting to do the rough cut, and once that's done, I'll just do the small animated segment for the cold open. It's short, there's not much about a dialogue, so it should be a little bit easier to do. And then after that, I'll probably make another poll just to refresh the audience of some of the ideas I had and see where we go. I might, like I've been saying, I would like to do some videos on Xenoblade or Nier Automata, Final Fantasy XIV, because these are other great games that don't get too much love in certain aspects. Well, I know Nier gets a lot of love, but I would like to. I had a couple ideas for videos of how that game's storytelling is rather unique, and why I think it's so great, because it's a story that you can almost only tell this effectively through the medium of video games. If there's any other franchises you'd like to see me talk about, I'm more than happy to listen And again, please don't hesitate in giving me feedback about this video and this style of podcast. What would you like to see in the future, or if there's any other smaller idea that you think I could do to help bring you guys a little bit more content in between the major videos. I'll also take this opportunity to kind of officially announce the Orpheon's Pokemon Sword Bird Lock Challenge. It's an idea I and my friend Helgap from the server have been sort of juggling for a couple of months now. But yeah, I'm going to do some streams where I play through the entirety of Pokemon Sword, only using bird Pokemons. I really like birds. I do a lot of bird watching. I just love birds in general. So I thought it'd be fun. It's that doing like a Nuzlocke challenge, but I can only use bird Pokemon. And a difference from a Nuzlocke challenge, no, when my Pokemon faint, they're not out of the party. Because if not, come on. There's only so many birds in Pokemon that I can catch in Sword. And such and stuff like that, so we don't really want to run into a wall. However, do feel free, if you're interested in the idea, follow me on Twitch, where the streams will be taking place. Also, do follow the Discord if you want more updates and when those things happen or go live. I'm trying to use that so I don't flood this channel with streams and stuff, but I might consider opening a second channel in the future just to upload streams there for the people who miss it. I don't think I'm going to be streaming that often because honestly I don't have the energy to do more than an hour and a half long streams unless it's something like Final Fantasy where you are constantly doing something. I'm a weird person, I guess. But yeah, that's it for now. I hope you guys had some fun time. I hope this video was of some sort of entertainment to you. And if you have any other questions, suggestions, or you just want to chat, feel free to hit me up on Twitter or Discord. And I hope you guys stay safe. If you do decide to go out, please remember to wear your mask, keep your distance, don't touch your face until you've cleaned your hands, and stay safe. See you guys.